too much. We're going to give a quick update on where we are with the Falcon. I've been kind of working on it a little here and there, and have not filmed everything, and so I wanted to just show you what I was doing. One of the last goals I had was to get some fuel to the engine. I have succeeded in doing that. Right now I am going to flip this around, and we'll see that we've got a boat tank that's feeding into the gas tank, and I went ahead and was able to get the fuel tank hooked up to the filler neck. The filler neck is not from this car. It has different bolt holes, but the filler neck is from an earlier Falcon, which matches this tank. One of the things I discovered was that this outlet on this tank is a 2-inch outlet, and so is this filler neck. And the old tank was 2 1/4 and 2 1/4, and so I was unable to just source something off the shelf, so I bought a 2-inch generic hose with a curve in it that was Gates fuel filler hose, and then I bought some exhaust pipe that was 2-inch, ID on one side and OD on the other, and I took my hose and cut it up and put some clamps on it, and then up there I've got more clamps as I join it, and then I'm gonna finish doing that installation. But clearly we're not leaking here. Only thing that really bothers me is I do have this low spot here where I'm gonna collect some fuel, but I imagine as I drive that it'll find its way into the tank as we go. The other thing I was doing was I was down here. Actually, I got, if you'll look, I've got some new tires on here. I went ahead and ordered some 195/70 14s, which I thought were the closest to what was the right size for this. And I've got wheel covers, all 4 of them. And you'll notice that I cleaned out the back of this bed. I found a lot of cool stuff when I did that. And I'm surprised at how wide and roomy this bed is. I think it'll be very, very functional. Anyway, 4 tires, 4 new tires. I had a barrier when I went to go put the front tires on, because somebody had put these tires on, and the first thing I noticed was that they had these funky wheel lugs on it. So I had 8 of them. I took a chisel to one and was unable to get it to move. And so I went online, and actually I did a Google Lens search, and I found that they were a splined lug nut, and there was a socket. Went down to AutoZone, they had it, wouldn't sell it to me because I didn't have a commercial account, and apparently if you don't have a commercial account, you're a thief and you're just trying to steal wheels. So I went on from the parking lot of AutoZone, and I ordered it on Amazon. Had it here the next day for $2 less than what AutoZone was asking. Anyway, damn rule followers. So I got them off, and I got the new ones on, and then I've been just playing around with. I have run the engine and have run it for a while. It runs good. It sounds good. I'm monitoring the fuel level to make sure that the engine oil level to make sure that I don't have any internal leaking from my fuel pump that's putting gas into the crank. But I don't have any leaks at all underneath this thing, and that's pretty crazy. And it's kind of a interesting mystery. This car is a bit of a mystery because I'm going to show you why. The tires that were on it were probably from the late 60s, early 70s, and they were like brand new. except they were dry rotted, but they were still held there and everything. But as I got underneath this thing, I thought, well, maybe it hasn't really been on the road since then, but somebody has spent some time on this thing, because if you look at this fuel line, it's in good condition. The fuel line, not the fuel line, the brake line. The brake line going to the front wheels looks brand new. This fuel line here looks new. So somebody has spent time on this thing, getting it either ready to go or whatever. And so, it didn't have brakes when I got it. The pedal went to the floor. It was out of fluid. I filled it up. I just cracked all the bleeders and let a little bit run out and tightened them back up, and I have pedal now. So obviously it still needs the bleeding, but I'm gonna I got brakes, and so that's a good thing, and it's not leaking anything anywhere. Like, there's nothing coming, and so that's the next step that I've got to do, is check the fluid level here, check the fluid level on the transmission. I know that the oil looks fresh and clean, and it looks like it's good. What else? The 3-speed is the thing I need to check as well. I did fire it up yesterday in gear, and I ran it in first gear, and it didn't sound great. It sounded like a lot of dry stuff turning, so I stopped that, and that was when I decided I was just going to go ahead and lubricate every fitting that I could find on this thing, so that we don't run it with dry bones. And so I got my grease gun out. I got exactly 2 pumps into the rear U-joint before I ran out, and so I'll have to look and see if I've got another either a grease gun or a cartridge around here. If not, I'm gonna have to go pick one up. Right now it's 2:24, and at 3 p.m. I'm supposed to have somebody coming by to do a VIN inspection on it. I need a title for it. I don't have a title. I know that you can do a bonded title in New Mexico, and I know that process is semi-mysterious. And so what it's like you get different things and different people telling you different things about what's required, and you go into the law and you look at that, and I finally thought, you know what? I got this car for a really good price, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But I got this car for a really good price. I can afford to spend $400 or $500 getting it titled and registered, or at least titled in my name. So I went ahead and went down to a DMV, one of those express DMVs that claim to be able to get bonded titles. Talked to them. They said, bring the car up. It's $45. We'll inspect the VIN for you, which is somewhere in here, right there. And I'll and then we'll go through that process. It'll take 3 to 6 months to get your title, and it'll be bonded for 3 years. It'll be marked, and then at the end of 3 years that falls away, and then you have a normal title. So I'm doing that. That's what I'm doing. It's going to cost me more money than and for instance, I could take it down there for $45, or I could have them come out here for $100. Well, I'm having them come out here for $100. It's like, by the time I get this thing on the dolly and haul it into Albuquerque and drive through town and do that U-turn that you have to do in front of that place, it would probably be a pain in the butt. So have them come out, do that. Hopefully they'll be here at 3 and help me take care of that. But that's another thing that's going on. Now, I said I got a really good deal on this car. Well, if you remember, I told you that there was someone that was interested in that 67, which was the whole reason I went over there, was to buy the 67. But the title was sketchy, and it wasn't complete, and it had VIN numbers that didn't match, and it really made me question whether or not that was going to be an easy car to get titled. And so the day after I bought that car, I got a call while I was at Home Depot, and the guy said he was in Arizona and wanted it, and would I be willing to sell it? And I thought, you know what? Sure, I'll sell it for, and I gave him a price, and the price happened to be what I paid for both cars. So you remember I paid $600 for this one. Well, now I paid $0 for this one, because I was able, he came out a couple of days later, and I think I'll insert some video here of that. And then he hauled it away. And I have to admit that once I made the decision to sell it, between the time I made that decision and the time he came, I was regretting kind of being so quick, because I thought about that 289 engine in it. I thought about the 8-inch rear end that it had in the back, and how I could benefit from those things and use them for other projects. Even if I didn't use the car, I could always get something for the car as a roller or even as a shell because it had so many good parts on it. But I just decided, I don't need to have a lot of cars around here without titles. I try to make sure that everything I have has ownership papers to it. Oops, and I just stepped on something. So some of the stuff, I'll jump to a different topic. I pulled this out of the back of that Ranchero, and this is a bunch of aluminum stuff that I don't believe fits this car. So someone somewhere would probably be happy to have that. And then I've got these wheel covers. I've got a set of 4 Futura wheel covers that maybe somebody might want. They look like they're 13-inch, so they're small. And I think I showed you already that I've got these for this thing. Anyway, just giving a quick update on where I'm at. I did also do some work inside. It's great me telling you all about the work I did without showing you the work I did. But this car, I believe, was used as a parts car. And I think, based on the fact that all of the solenoid stuff was missing and all the cables over on that side were gone, the fact that there was no ignition switch, no light switch, none of the switches in the dash were there, the fact that this is out with no speedo cable in it, and then I've got some parts here as well as another instrument display, but I went ahead and ordered on eBay an ignition switch, the actual switch part in the back, and then I realized I needed the spacer and the bezel, so I ordered that. And then now I've got a key cylinder coming that matches the door keys, so that I'll have one key to open everything. I ordered a headlight switch, not the switch, but the push and pull knob. That's why my headlight is on, is because whenever they do that, I guess they got to pull the knob out and it sets off the switch. But and then the bezel and the spacer that goes behind it, so that I can be able to turn that headlight off, and then also to have headlights. The turn signals work. Anyway, it's had a lot of stuff taken off of it, and I need to go back through and determine what's been taken off. This still smells in here a little bit, and so one of the things I do want to do is get it outside and hose it down and wash it with vinegar or something to try to get the smell. I did get all the rat poop out of it and everything else. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh yeah, I ordered a Z bar for it, which is it's called a clutch equalizer bar, and it goes down in here, and it basically takes your foot lever, your foot effort, and it changes direction on it and takes it down to that transmission, and then it pushes the clutch in. And so I found one. I don't know that it has all the parts that I need, and so I'm going to be piecing together that. But that's again, just part of the process of getting something going. There's a lot of talking, and I should show you more working, but I think I'll wait until the next video. I do promise to do more work here, because this radiator leaks, even though it looked like it was in good shape and it had coolant in it when I got it. But I've got a little bit of leaking going down the front of it there, and it seems to be coming from the tank. There was in the back of this thing, there was another radiator. No idea whether it holds pressure or not. Don't know if I want to test it before I install it. I might just install it. I might just capture all the coolant here, install that one, see how it works, and then go from there. And if that doesn't work, then maybe take this one down and there's guys that will resolder and repair these things. And I think I'd rather do that than go and spend money on a new radiator. All right, I've done a lot of talking. I appreciate you watching. Thanks.